Computer, are you ready? Stand by. All right, hello. Today we're at the range. We've got a little mock speed steel setup. We've got our lightweight guns, our 1022s. So as far as the goal of a lightweight build, it's so you can swing it, you can move it a little bit quicker. You're not having to muscle it into place with big heavy barrel. And then typically recommend you to have around 5 magazines if possible. It just helps you to keep from having to stuff mags in between your strings and helps keep the match flowing. You're allowed to use any size magazine. It does give you a little bit of advantage in case your follow-up shots are needed.
So mine comes in at just 3.5 pounds, a whole host of aftermarket accessories. Mine's like starting from the bottom and working your way up, where most 1022s are built maybe using an existing 1022. There are other companies out there that offer more of a custom shop type approach.
Here to talk about on my build, I've got obviously a Ruger 1022. It's in a Blackhawk Knox stock. The only original parts now are the receiver, the bolt, and the charging handle. Everything else has been replaced. I'm running the Ruger BX trigger, so it is a little bit of an upgraded trigger while keeping cost in mind. The lightweight's the fax and pencil build, which has been accurate enough, but more importantly, lightweight enough where I'm able to swing that gun quick between target to target. I've got the Warne, V470?
490?
The Warne V490 Picatinny rail, just mounted right on that receiver. The 6110 red dot risers, the Picatinny riser, and then a Holosun 510C sitting on top of that. Yeah, I built it pretty much as a lightweight speed build.
Right. That's awesome. This guy is barely noticeable as a Ruger 1022. I am running a Ruger 1022 receiver on it, and that's about where it stops. It features a Volquartsen barrel, the lightweight carbon fiber. It is running tandem cross internals. That's everything from the trigger to the bolt to the extractor. Everything inside that gun is tandem cross. Topped off for the build, we have the Warne V490-15 MOA rail.
That same rail on both of them.
Exactly, yeah. That's a great rail, and that's the whole point of our builds, was to build them lightweight, and that rail's pretty lightweight.
That vapor rail is hard to beat for the price, for the weight, for the quality.
Absolutely.
It's a solid.
They'll get out here and run.
Yep.
I mean, Vapor's an excellent series for us. Topped off with a 6109M low pro red dot mount, and finally got an awesome optic from Swampfox.
Those wider windows are pretty awesome. All right, that Justice window is very nice and big, so it's easy to pick up right when you pull open the gun. The 510C is a massive window. It does come with a little bit of a weight penalty, but it is a massive window. So right when you pull it up, you're ready to start pulling that trigger. One of the differences to look at our setups, both 1022s, we want to look at the mount setup. We're both using the same rail on our receiver, but if we look at where the red dots are, mine's raised up with that 6110. Sean's got the low profile red dot mount. Sean set his up a little more like a hunting rifle profile, where you're going to have it as close to the bore as you possibly can. Mine's a little more raised up. I find that when I pull the gun up, I'm quicker on the target with that raised red dot. Again, it doesn't affect the zero on the gun. They both zero fine, they both shoot fine. It doesn't affect the accuracy, anything like that. Kind of comes down to preference, how quickly you can raise that gun and get on target. Another thing to look at, red dot is a lot more forgiving as far as the eye box goes and the eye relief goes. Something like a scope setup on my rifle, I don't think I'd be able to run it that high.
Another feature for the lightweightness, or another topic, is definitely the Magpul X22 stock. It's relatively new, and that really just makes a great foundation for the entire build. This build was for my 8-year-old. I was looking for a lightweight setup for him versus a standard Ruger 1022, just a little bit heavy for him to swing around and stand and shoot. So,
and your stock is similar lines to the original, the Hunter X20 or the Hunter 22. The lines are very similar, but you're coming in at about half the weight I am. So.
Yeah, I'm just about Well, I'm 3.5 pounds.
Yep. I know I'm probably pushing 4, give or take.
Yeah. I think another thing that scares some shooters away is the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need to come out here with a race gun. You don't need a custom shop firearm to enter these events. You know, there are all walks of life and income to come to these events, and I've actually noticed some of the less financially invested people really do well. I think this is a sport where practice and practice and
Practice and practice, and people come up, you know, it doesn't matter the gun. 1022 is probably the most popular. It's been around the longest. It's, well, not the longest, but it's been around for a long time. The little tweaks are pretty ironed out on it, so it's probably the most common, but there's plenty of other guns out there. We see it all at the Rimfire challenges. There's, you know, Savages, Rugers, ARs, you know, there's everything. The big thing is going to be reliability. Reliability-wise on the gun, it's going to make or break your strings. If you have a gun that doesn't work, it's going to kill your time and kill your score. The biggest thing is reliability. Past all of the fancy add-ons and doodads, the reliability is king. If you have a 100% running 1022 that just runs and runs and runs and eats whatever ammo, I would take that any day over the pimped-out race gun that doesn't work right.
Yeah, I agree 100% with what Chris just said.
Alrighty, so what we've got set up here is kind of a little mock Rimfire challenge setup. It's just a 5-round string. Target's a little bit smaller than what you would normally be shooting at, but we're just here having fun, so that's okay. Basically, you're going to shoot a string, or you're going to shoot 5 strings of shots, so essentially 5 different rounds. You're going to start by shooting all of the non-stop plate targets, so all of them that are not marked red. Red is your stop plate, your ending plate. You want to shoot that one last. That's the end of that string. Typically, you're going to shoot 1 string, go, 2 string, 3 string, 4 string, 5 string. Your slowest string gets thrown out. So you get 1 kind of do-over, 1 kind of screw-up string. So you're just going to shoot it as fast as you can. There are different ways to kind of play the game. Most people are going to try and do a round robin or go left to right, just depending on how the stage works. This stage is a little bit tricky because that stop plate is right in the middle and it's a little bit lower and in the front. If I'm playing a stage, I'm probably going to try and circle right to left and work my way down in kind of a swoop. There's ways to game it instead of, you know, swinging left, right, try and get it in one fluid motion is kind of the quickest way to go.
Make ready.
So you wait for your command to make ready. That's when you can uncase. Make sure you don't flag yourself on uncasing. And the make ready is also the load command. So you're going to get everything set up and ready to go. And then a lot of people will load 1, throw that mag out, so you have the 1 in the chamber as well as your 10, just as a little bonus. At this point, you're also allowed to take a pre-stage, figure out how you want to shoot it. So you start down, work your way up, and you want to figure out how you want to shoot it. At this point, the shooter's ready, so then we'll wait for our next command.
Are you ready?
So I can either say yes or not respond. Not responding means that you're ready to go. You can say yes or okay, just as you can do that. If you're not ready, that's when you say not ready.
Stand by.
Stand by, you're waiting for the beep. There'll be a couple seconds in between that and the go signal. And that's your first string. From there, you remove your expended magazine and you add a new one in. You get in the start position again.
Are you ready? Stand by.
And you do 5 strings of these. So this is string 3.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So even though it's a malfunction, I'm still on the clock. I can switch magazines if I want. There's no rule saying you have to use the same one. So that one I'm going to assume is my tosser stage. I want to make sure the other stages are flawless. The other strings are flawless.
Are you ready? Stand by.
And then usually the range officer will say last string, so you know it's your last one to go.
Are you ready? Stand by.
So then range officer will say, show me an empty gun. You'll show the range officer a cleared empty gun. He will then instruct you to case it up. All right, so it's Sean's string. He's up to go. He's gonna walk up to the line. Shooter, make ready. And this is some point to check that your gun is facing downrange. Make sure you don't case it while it's pointing everyone else. That would be breaking the 180. So this is a point where the shooter is gonna choose what order he wants to shoot the targets in. Or magazine, yeah. All right, shooter, are you ready? No response means he's ready. And then just have it downwards, point towards that blue shell there. That'll be our start. Usually there's a cone or a board or something. That's your start board. So shooter, are you ready? Stand by. That's a good string. You didn't miss any. You are allowed to take as many shots as you want. So even if you miss a target, you can hit that thing again and it still counts. And Sean's ready for his next string. He's gonna wait for the RO command.
Does your finger got to be off the trigger?
Off the trigger, yep. And just point it down at that shotgun shell down there. Are you ready? Stand by. And he automatically loads for the next string. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. He's getting in the groove now. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Woo-hoo-hoo. Last string. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. And please show clear. So again, same thing, pistol, rifle, same range command, so pretty easy. You're gonna wanna check, make sure your gun is facing forward. A lot of people like to put little marks on their bag. I haven't done that yet. Gotta make sure we're empty. If you're running a dot, you're gonna wanna make sure it's on. Do our dry run.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by. Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
So again, 5 strings, your slowest one gets thrown out.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
And our last string.
Shooter, are you ready? Stand by.
And the RO is going to make sure you're cleared.
We're good.
And then he'll tell you to case it up.
Close it up.